Hello again, I am Jim Bob, and today we are going to be reviewing Real Farm, the newest IP from publishers Soedesco. Real Farm is a new entry in a fast-growing market of farming simulation games. This once niche genre is rapidly filling up, with several different publishers all trying their hand at toppling the well-established market leaders Giants and their highly successful farming simulator franchise from the top of their podium. With other titles such as Cattle and Crops and Pure Farming on their way very soon as well, Real Farm is up against some pretty fierce competition. So how does it stack up? Well, unfortunately, not so well. Although it's not for a lack of trying. Real Farm does have some nice features, and there are some things it does better than Farming Simulator. Needing to order supplies for your farm is a very nice feature, something I particularly like, and having to work your fields in multiple ways is a big plus. Soil hydration and insect infestations mean you need to do more than simply just fertilise your fields if you want to get a good yield from your crops. Being able to view a breakdown of each field is easy too. Once on the field, you can quickly pull up a status breakdown panel showing the percentage status of each category, and you can also see this information at a glance via the symbols displayed at the top of the screen. Field textures are pretty nice too, with soil trails following the path of your movements rather than staying in a straight line, a feature that has been sorely lacking from Farming Simulator for quite some time. But it's not without issues either. The grid work underneath the field can sometimes interfere with what you're doing above ground, leaving bare patches on display, and this grid work even shows up on the screen on some of the fields, which doesn't look great. The ability to work the ground anywhere on the map also presents an unfortunate drawback as well, as it cannot be switched off, making it very difficult to keep within the boundaries of the fields, and any mistakes you make will be permanently etched into the landscape. During playtesting, my controller died while seeding with cruise control active, and I ended up carving a path through two other fields and into a riverbed before I was able to regain control. As with any farming game, the equipment is the star of the show, and unfortunately this is another area where the game falls a little short. The lack of officially licensed equipment is going to be a definite issue for some, although the Garrison and Mammoth brands are clearly influenced by Massey Ferguson and Fendt respectively, and I suspect that Triton is Real Farm's take on New Holland. The exterior models of the vehicles are pretty good, although the level of detail does drop on the interior, and with the colours of some of the switches inside the cabs, they can feel a little cartoonish at times, rather than an expensive piece of farming equipment. Being able to turn on hazards is a nice touch, and vehicle beacons do have a nice light reflection, something that Giants said was impossible on consoles. The quality of the equipment is not to the same standard though, with several pieces looking more like a child's toy. The small grain trailer is a particularly jarring example of this. Even more worrying is the disconnect you feel when operating the vehicles. Handling is poor, with the vast majority of them suffering from horrendous understeer. Braking is slow to respond, even at low speeds, although the pickup truck slows to a dead stop almost immediately that you lift your finger off the accelerator. Trying to reverse a tractor if you have a piece of equipment unfolded is also a near impossibility. Speaking of the equipment, another huge disconnect is the way some items, cultivators in particular, sit on the rear hitch. They sway violently from side to side, those movements getting even more extreme the more pronounced your turn. And it makes you wonder how they pass Soedesco's quality control tests. Other animations are pretty poor too. Watching the byproduct coming out the back of a combine harvester is not a pleasant experience. As for the gameplay, well, it's actually pretty decent, if a little limited. There are two different game modes, career and free play. In career, you are a simple farmhand with nothing but a pickup truck and a series of job opportunities via notice boards dotted around the game map. Completing each of these jobs gives you a cash reward, and you are soon encouraged to purchase your own tractor and tools, and tasked with earning $1 million to purchase a farm from a soon-to-retire farmer. In free mode, you already own the farm and 3 fields, along with a small selection of equipment, and it's up to you to decide how you want to grow your farm and purchase the land and equipment you'll need to run it. Workers are available for hire to help you out, but disappointingly you'll never actually see them in action. Instead, you get a progress bar on the field in question, and you can also keep track of your workers via the menu, where a countdown tab shows how many in-game workers are active and the hours and minutes that remain on each of their jobs. There is only one map and no multiplayer, and with a lack of mod support, potentially this will become very, very repetitive over the long term. Soedesco have stated their intentions to keep updating the game with free additions, so hopefully this will be addressed in the future. The control system is fairly straightforward too, if a little awkward at first. The radial wheel was clearly implemented with the console users in mind, and for those of us used to the fairly straightforward controls of Farming Simulator, it can take a moment to adjust. Although once you've mastered it, it can make for reasonably efficient use, although I do think it could be improved upon just a little. If you can look past the game's shortcomings, Real Farm is actually not too bad. There's a decent little game here, desperately trying to find its way out from underneath the bugs and problems it's currently suffering. Assuming that Soedesco support this game with patches and updates, as they have stated they intend to do, then this game will definitely improve. In its current state, it's not a bad game, but it's not a great one either, and with a £35 and $40 price tag, I can't really recommend it as a worthy purchase. But if you can pick it up on sale, it might be worth a look.